So that was really interesting. I talked to the Atomic people, and they said they felt the same thing. So what they did for this year, they softened up the tails, so not as like super overly responsive feel out of the tail. What I described to her is the old ski kind of like accentuated mistakes. If you made a mistake, the ski was so responsive that it was like it's too light and too responsive. So much smoother now, way easier to release the tail edge. Definitely more of a all mountain ski feel instead of that like wide, ultra responsive carving ski feel. So yeah, I had a lot of fun on them.
Hi skiers, I'm Jeff from SkiEssentials.com.
I'm Bob. How's it going?
Bob and I are here today to talk about the 2020 Atomic Vantage 90 Ti. Pretty cool ski. We've talked a lot about these kind of 90 millimeter all mountain skis over the past few months, year, 8 months or so.
Forever.
This one's pretty cool because it's pretty darn unique,
Yeah.
especially in its construction. So I think that's a good way to start off. Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit about Atomic's ProLite construction?
Yeah, so it seems to be this concept within the brand of Atomic where they're starting from the ground up as opposed to saying, we're going to take this core of wood and sandwich it between two pieces of metal. Atomic is starting from the ground up. They start with their base and then a light titanium tank mesh.
Yep.
And then the wood core on top.
Yep.
What they've done is they've taken out some of these midsections here in the forebody and towards the tail of the ski, these hollowed out channels here. So they don't need as much wood there, basically. And so that creates this ski's most unique and discerning characteristic, which is its lightweight.
Yeah.
So by removing that unnecessary wood, or not even starting with it, I guess that's the whole point, is that they didn't even start with the wood. They started with the bottom and built up and deemed that was unnecessary for what they were going for with this ski.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You can pretty much see it. You know, if I hold it up to you guys can't see the lights in the studio, but if I hold the ski up to the light, I can, you can't actually see my hand through it, but you can see the shadow. Which is pretty cool. I mean, it really is just base material, top sheet material, and that titanium tank mesh right in that section of the ski.
And we see a lot of companies kind of adjusting these different thicknesses or where they're placing the materials.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, it's not a wood core ski with 2 full sheets of metal on it. They're going for something different. So we see a lot of different techniques and philosophy with partial metal. And that's what we got here. So not 2 full sheets of Titanal or whatever it may be, but strategic metal to achieve the desired effect without going over and making something that's too heavy or unmanageable.
And I think, something that people, I would say at this point in the video, it's if you don't already know this, this is a good concept to wrap your mind around. Metal does not necessarily make a ski stiffer. It's actually core thickness really is providing more stiffness. Yeah. It's kind of a misconception that metal adds stiffness to a ski. It adds weight, it adds that like vibration damping and stuff like that. But not much metal in these skis. I mean, there is that full length titanium tank mesh. Yeah. But they're pretty darn stiff.
Yeah.
So they're achieving a stiff ski here that's also quite lightweight. Yeah. Which definitely kind of, in my opinion, puts this in, sort of a league of its own. Yeah. Bob, you skied it. I know you've skied it because I've chased you with a camera when you were skiing it. I skied it. I'll be the first to admit that last year when I skied this ski, I actually thought it was too stiff. Yeah. What happens when you get a ski that's this lightweight? So this 176 right here is like 1750 grams. Which is pretty light.
It's pretty light.
For a performance all-mountain ski, it's very light.
With metal.
Yeah, it's very light. Yeah. So when you get something that's that lightweight and that stiff, it is extremely responsive. And last year's ski was so stiff, especially in the tail, that sometimes it was like too responsive. It was kind of what I've been calling it is, and what I felt when I was skiing it, is if I made a mistake, it would kind of accentuate that mistake. It was still a great ski. You just had to like really be on it the whole time. So I think that's a good way to transition into performance of this ski. On groomers, it's still, I mean, it rips.
Yeah.
It like really does rip. It's super responsive, holds an edge really, really well. But I prefer the feel of the tail this year.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you feel when you were skiing it? So more groomers.
Yeah, so on groomers, I feel like the exterior kind of spine build is better for groomers. We see it with Vocal's Titanal frame. Sure. If you can think of another one, I know I had one on my head earlier, but
I mean, mind benders are pretty similar. If you look at the tip of a mind bender,
the tip of the mind bender
concept.
So they're putting the bulk of their material over the edges, which on groomers gets a lot more precision to that edge. And I felt that with this ski definitely. You could take a pretty high speed for how light it is. Again, it's not going to be mistaken for a race ski. That's not what they're going for. They're going for that advanced skier that's looking to progress, carve turns, not looking to beat themselves up about it. So for someone like me who's 220 pounds, skiing pretty hard, I might need a little bit more stability at speed, but not everyone weighs as much as I do. So there's a huge demographic of people out there that not only are looking for it, but would be better off with a ski like this.
That's a great point. I mean, I think if you wanted an all-mountain ski that you could take out, and like, I know you don't ski like this all the time, but you do it every once in a while. If you just wanted to make like high-speed super G turns, you probably wouldn't choose this ski. But for me, it would be totally fine.
Right.
Like, I don't need that extra bulk and the extra heft of a ski with two like traditional sheets of metal. And I think on the other end of that spectrum, those skis, the downside to those skis is they typically take some speed to really come alive. Where this, you can ski it at slower, more moderate speeds, and it still has that like really quick, really fun, responsive feel.
And I do like making quick and short turns.
Yeah, you make. I mean, that's. So I think you ski like that more than those long super G turns. And when following you skiing this, that's basically what I saw. So fantastic groomer ski. It's really, I think, responsiveness and energy and quickness is kind of its highlight.
Definitely,
It's providing a really nice alternative to those traditional sandwich construction 2 sheets of metal skis. There are differences. Like if you point them straight down the fall line, those will feel a little bit more stable and just glued to the snow, but they don't have the same kind of pop and energy as these skis. Off-piste, pretty fun too. I mean, 90 millimeters, all mountain skis. We have to talk about all mountain performance. Probably the favorite moment for me watching you ski this was going through a little area at Stowe that we call Tombas.
Or James Bond, depending on how old you are.
Yes. There's multiple names for multiple things at Stowe. But how did it feel in there?
Awesome. It's not the type of ski that you have to engage it from the very front of the ski. You can engage the ski underfoot. So as opposed to a heavier, bulkier ski that you have to really start from tip to tail and make a turn, this can pivot a lot easier. So just by moving your feet, the lightness and the quickness of the ski is going to respond more appropriately than a heavier 90 underfoot or 88 or whatever that all mountain ski. So being able to do that in tight areas, whether it's bumps or trees or chutes or whatever, that's a huge benefit for this ski, is that you can do a lot of foot steering. You don't have to drive the shin of your leg into the front of the boot and get a full tip to tail turn. You can make multiple turn shapes just with your feet. So that was a really nice thing, very accessible for a bunch of different skier types and
Sure.
abilities. So
I mean,
I found that good.
I've become accustomed to watching you make really quick pivoting turns.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you're really good at as a skier.
Thanks.
But yeah, you're welcome. But on these, I was really impressed watching on
Yeah.
these because it was like lightning quick.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, when I tested these skis, I admit I focused more on carving, but I did play around a little bit with that stuff, and
Yeah.
I really just feel like it's that light swing weight, and you can just throw them side to side so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not, there is no tail rocker in this ski, so it does require a little bit of skier input. It's
Yeah.
not just like that kind of lazy smear, but yeah, they're really fun, really
Yeah.
quick.
And even with that flat tail, it doesn't lock you into the tail.
No, it doesn't. And I think that's something that the 2019 ski did
Yeah.
a lot more.
Yeah, no, I agree.
If you were to take that stiffer tail ski into the same terrain, a little bit more unweighting of the tail
Yeah.
was required,
Yeah.
so to speak.
So more input.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Kind of that like dolphin turn, where you're kind of keeping your tip up pressed to the snow, but
Yeah.
popping the tail of the ski up. You don't really have to do that on this ski. So fantastic all mountain ski.
Yep.
I love that this just provides a different
Right.
feel, a different choice. It's not trying to be the same as everybody else. They're not taking a proven existing design and doing the same thing. They're really, like you said, starting from the ground up here, and they produced a really good product, and I think this 2020 version is hands down the best one yet.
Yeah. And this Pro-Light construction is consistent through most of Atomic's all mountain and free ride skis. So, if you try one of these and you like that, then it will translate to other skis in their line. So.
Yeah, shaping concept changes a little bit too. Now that you mentioned that, as you go wider, I
Yeah.
believe they get more rocker,
Yeah.
less taper,
Yeah.
or more taper. So if you have any questions about how the Vantage 107 feels, feel free to leave a comment on this video. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Bob, anything to add?
Nope, leaves are starting to turn up here.
Yep, they are. Yeah, there's some trees that are like full on red
Yep.
right now. So
Getting closer.
yeah, we'll see you guys on the slope soon.
Bye.
TI, right?
TI 90.
Ti. Cool. Thank you.